Hello everyone, it's Bubbles, and welcome to another Siege panel reaction. Today we are reacting to the Year 9 Season 1 Operation, is it Deadly Omen? Yeah, Operation Deadly Omen reveal panel. This happened during the 6th Invitational. I actually am not 100% sure who won that, to be honest. But anyway, the Invitational, I was watching through a lot of the games, especially with G2 and Dark Zero, who are kind of my favorite teams to follow. Some fantastic matches. If you want to learn anything about Siege, go watch those. They are actually really, really fun to watch, and I feel like it's a very different kind of pro scene to watch compared to any other game that exists. Because Siege, it has that mechanical element of gunfights, as well as that chess element of being able to position people to make plans and to adapt to what the opponent is doing. It's a very interesting game. And so I fully recommend that you do that. Otherwise, we're going to get into this panel reaction. We're going to see what's coming. I've heard some rumors about what's coming, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to see what they present us, react to it, and I'll give you my thoughts. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. Leave a like if you can, subscribe if you can, and let's get into it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Operation Deadly Omen. I'm Camille Salazar-Hadaway, here to give you all the details on the first season of Year 9
How
of
long
Rainbow
has she been
Six
doing
Siege.
this, by the way?
We've got some big updates to
I'm pretty
shake up
sure
the meta,
most of
a
the reveal
sinister new
events she's been
operator,
on.
and maybe even a special
Since we've
guest
been
at the end.
reacting.
Let's not jinx it. To get us started, please welcome Creative Director Alexander Karpazes.
Okay, let's have a look at this.
Year 9
Lexi!
Season 1 starts with a bang, and it's all about Operation...
If you've been by the channel before, you know we all love Lexi here. God. This guy, I don't know why, but he exudes so much passion and excitement about every single season that releases. I don't know. There's a few of the team that are like that, but I really appreciate that about the Siege community. I don't ever feel like I ever see any of the devs not like I don't know. I don't see devs of other games getting as excited as I feel like Siege devs get about the upcoming content. There probably are some examples, especially in my, if I was looking at my favorite game, Dead by Daylight, I'm sure there's a couple, but they're just, some of these guys just make me feel so hyped. Anyway, let's go. Let's keep going.
Deadly Omen. You'll see huge meta shifts this season, where we're bringing the new shield rework, changes to the attachment system, and much more.
Don't know how
the
this is
locker
going to affect
system
things.
is being introduced, a new way to manage your inventory. The next operator joining our ranks is Deimos. Now that he's captured by Team Rainbow, he won't be joining them, but he will be playable. We can't wait for you to see more about him. On top of all of...
Okay, so my guess there is, I haven't actually seen, apparently there's a cinematic trailer. We might have to go see that afterwards. I didn't realize that they were gonna... Well, okay. I guess that spoils a little bit of it to us. But if you haven't been following the Deimos arc, he killed the person kind of coordinating Team 6, or Team Rainbow, whatever they're calling it. And my understanding is he's been fucking around with some other stuff. So I'm guessing maybe they're building up to sort of a Suicide Squad sort of development where they start recruiting operators that kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm excited to see how they implement him.
All of this, we're adding something special to the ranked rewards this season.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen this.
Super rare headgear.
Somebody
for those
tweeted
of
this
you
out.
Who can climb the...
I teased for a while that I've wanted to do a ranked run. Just see how far I can get. But the problem is that I've never had the incentive to do it. This might be the incentive. This might make me actually do it. Cause you know, that is a sick headgear. And yeah, no, I'm totally down. So you know, we'll see if Seb's down for it, we'll see if Soy's down for it, and any of my other friends who are into Siege. And yeah, we might go for a ranked run, see how we go.
Ladder and show it off.
Our next topic is a big one. After proving its mettle on the test server, the revamped shield mechanic is ready for prime time.
Yeah.
Game director
This has
Joshua
been
Mills
delayed
is
a
here to
bit,
present
so
this
I'm
huge
curious to see
change
what it
and talk about the new
brings.
tactical possibilities of shields.
Okay.
So right off the bat, I'd love to
Cautiously
take the
nervous.
opportunity to again thank our community for checking out our lab test server. So why are we changing the shields? The current state of the shields has something that I saw a comment for this and I thought it was perfect. It was headshot lottery. That's kind of what the hipfire sequence is, where it's just a random headshot can catch you and does not feel good regardless of what side of the shield you're on.
Yeah.
With this package, one of the big things was to make sure that every action a shield operator can have follows a very simple principle.
Oh.
Be defensive. Be defensive.
I don't think you're able to lean like that. I could just be me being newbie, but that I'm already seeing some options here. This interests me. Right, okay, keep going.
Be defensive. Be defensive 90% of the time. If you
Yeah.
want to be offensive, then you got to give something for that. This is the idea that reloading behind the shield is now safe. But if you want to go for the kill and you want to use your weapon, you have to open yourself up. You have to become vulnerable. Obviously, it's reinforcing the fantasy of being the tank of your team. We want you to be able to be in that front line. We want you to be able to carve away the territory. And ultimately, we want you to feel powerful. Right now, we're focusing on the ballistic shields. So this is Fuse, Blitz, Montaigne when the shield is not extended. There's a bunch of new things that you can do. One, you can break through full health barricades.
Okay.
You have a melee pushback.
That's quite sick.
And it does damage.
Okay, melee pushback and it does damage. Okay. Already that gives you that element of engagement. That I feel like it's always existed with shield operators, but it's always had that element of, okay, you gotta get somebody else to break the thing, or you gotta like smack the barricade a few times. Like, that kind of just, you force yourself in. It's a assertive sort of gameplay. This is, I'm already liking this. I'm hoping that it's good. It's gonna take a bit of getting used to though. I noticed they said ballistic shields though, so that means Clash is possibly going to exist the way she currently does, which I don't like fantastically, but yes, whatever. We'll keep going with this.
You can reload behind your shield. Additionally, you can activate triggerable gadgets from behind the shield, as well as deploy your throwables. You will actually move the shield just a little bit to make sure that arm gets out there. Now that said, your head will always be protected. The free look. This is actually what's replacing the hipfire. This means that, as Monty, for example, you can approach a doorway and you can look to the left, look to the right, check if there's traps. But more importantly, if you're working as a team, you can hold your position while you feed that intel to them.
Yeah, you basically become a wall. And then you get the freedom of looking around while you know that that stable wall is there, per se. Obviously, you know, I'm not sure what the counter attack to this is yet, but I guess we'll see.
As we can see, attackers and ballistic shields are getting a lot of functionality. They're able to sprint, better rotations throughout the map, but that said, a defender can light up that shield. This will actually stop a shield operator from sprinting. This is one of the key things you can do to start coordinating with your team or setting up for the flanks. With the new addition of the defensive melee, this allows our shield operators to get up close and personal. Something, generally speaking, you don't want to happen. But if it does, you're not out of options. It's important to recognize that whenever you do get hit by a knockback, you have a window of opportunity in which you can light up that shield user. Maybe shoot them in the legs, do something in that reaction, but again, not a position you want to find yourself in. So it's best to use the suppressive fire to keep them at a distance and work with your team. So this is the foundation of our shields going forward. It sets us up for the opportunity to revisit different parts of our shields, including our extended shields. We'll have a little bit more to talk about later this year.
Yeah, I figured. This feels like it should have an asterisk part 1. I like this because something they didn't really mention in that is that this pushes it back to, everyone complains about the gun meta that we're in right now, where it's all about gunplay and gadgets don't matter. This kind of pushes against that. If they bring a Blitz or a Monty or something, they're going to be pushing you. They're going to be in your face and, hey, maybe you can shoot them and stop a little bit of that, but they're still going to be like coming up in your face, and that's where gadgets are going to be important. If you got this this shield operator going slam through the window, breaking through your barricade, you're going to want that frost trap there. You're going to want that Kapkan mine there. But at the same time, it gives operators the chance to stop, have your shield, have a look around, Kapkan mine, and get rid of it. I like this. It pushes the game towards the gadget meta again a little bit. There's other elements to this I like. We'll have to see what they end up doing with extended shields. But this sounds good. I do want to test out the dash though. That is my my point of curiosity at the minute.
While the Siege team continuously works to improve player protection, the launch of a new season is a great time to introduce impactful new measures. Updates targeting ranked mode and anti-cheat are on the way. And here to tell you more are associate producer Killian Callow and player protection and game security director Emmanuel Larive.
Okay, let's see it.
With Deadly Omen, we're introducing new restrictions to play Rank. Rank is our most competitive playlist, the place where you compete against other players based on your performance and skill level. The restrictions target two different groups, returning and new players. Siege is a constantly evolving game. The meta changes, there's new operators, new maps, balancing updates, or even gameplay addition.
Yeah.
We know it's not a good
If anyone saw my stream I did the other day with Soy and Seb, that became abundantly clear very quickly. I love those guys. It became very clear very quickly that there were some operators that they just were not super familiar with. I think, I don't know. Hard to pick out an example, but it's like I was talking about strategies I wanted to implement with Tuberau, for instance, and I'm not entirely sure they understood what I was talking about. It's all it takes is one season for you to lose track of it, especially with the way that Siege has been adding so many meta-breaking ops. If you look at it like the Defender ops of the last couple of years, we've gotten Solus, we've got Izami, we've got Fenrir, we've got Tuberau. All four of those are absolute behemoths on defense, each of them drastically changing the way that a defense can play, which means that if you just miss one season or where they're introduced, all of a sudden you're playing catch up trying to figure out, okay, well, how the hell does this all work? Attack hasn't been as strong, but you still got your Bravas, you still got your Rams, and they have their own elements to them that do drastically change the game. If there's a Brava, you don't want to be bringing Echo or Maestro. You want to be careful about how you're using them. If you have a Ram, you want to try and have somebody up on that upper floor, making sure that you're not getting absolutely lit up from above. It's an interesting one, and yeah. I find it interesting that they're going through and changing this stuff, but I think it's also a good way to ensure that all ranked players know what they're getting into, as well as it sounds like there's also going to be some new requirements for new players, which is going to make it difficult for people to level up accounts so that people can buy accounts and, you know, all that jazz.
Experience to be with someone in a team who is not aware of the latest game updates.
Yeah.
From now on, we will consider a player as inactive when that player hasn't played any regular PvP match for an entire season.
Yep.
When coming back, the inactive player will need to rediscover the game by winning 5 quick match or standard matches to unlock access to ranked. The other restriction is regarding new players.
I get that requirement, but there is a bit of a reliance on somebody going against the new stuff. I feel like the best example is that the new map Lair. You're leaving it completely up to chance that the returning player is going to get Lair and know what that is. Instead of just getting thrown into it in their ranked gameplay and then getting completely screwed when they don't know what is going on it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a good way to fix that though.
A new player is any player who hasn't played ranked before the release of Deadly Omen. From now on, besides the clearance level 50 requirement to play ranked, the new players will need to have in their collection at least 10 attacking and 10 defending operators. The focus of the new restrictions is to preserve the competitive integrity of ranked while enhancing the experience for all players.
Yeah. The thing is that I feel like some people have this idea, and it's why I hate the idea of mains in Rainbow. Because if you're trying to be a half-decent player, you shouldn't be specifically playing one character. I love Frost. I love Caviera. I love... Who else? I love Alibi and Azami. Castle I also enjoy a bit, and there's a couple of ops I really like. I call Frost my favorite, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to play whoever I feel like the team needs. If the team needs a bandit to cover a wall, I'm happy to do that. If we need an Azami to kind of terraform the site a little bit, I'm happy to do that. And I feel like any good player needs to have a nice range of characters complete with some breach denial, with some intel, or vice versa. On attack, you want hard breaches, soft breaches, again, intel gathering ops. You need these things to be able to fill the gaps where a team might need something different. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get the way that people talk about being a main per se, because it's just a dumb mindset in my opinion. I get having a favorite character though. Like I said, Frost is mine.
System. The goal of it is to better detect and act on cheaters that are ruining the game experience of everybody. Right now, we're moving from an old model to a new model that will be based on machine learning. This is a key update for our anti-cheat strategy. We will have conservative threshold to make sure that we're not impacting fair and regular players. We only want to catch cheater and the people that are ruining your game experience. We want to clean matches in a proactive way. Our long-term strategy toward cheating and ban on data will be exposed on the year 9 overview. Player protection.
I don't like the way you said exposed. I don't want them to... Talking about cheating is always is always an interesting one. You don't want to tell cheaters too much, because then they will figure out what is being enacted against them and try and circumnavigate it. Like, don't expose yourself, please. I love you, Emmanuel. Just don't expose yourself to the cheaters. In any way, I don't care if it's dick pics or fucking telling them how to cheat. I just don't expose yourself.
Toward anti-cheat, all player behavior are top priority for the project on Siege.
In addition to accumulating razor-sharp skills and finely tuned instincts, Siege players have a tendency to collect stylish looks. So we've got a new inventory system to help you make the most of your cosmetic collection. UX designer Nicholas
let me archive things for the love of God. Berlin I have so many gun skins I just need to fucking purge.
We're excited to announce a new addition coming to Rainbow Six Siege, the Locker. The Locker adds a comprehensive way of browsing your entire collection of...
Not relevant, but the top half of that guy's head is like basically Pulse incarnate. Look, it, again, doesn't mean anything. But I wanted to address that.
Cosmetics. Players will be able to find their items in different categories, such as appearance for headgear and uniforms, or weapons for weapon skins, attachment skins, and charms. Categories hold all items of that type for all operators and can be sorted by different criteria, such as operator, name, or rarity. Players will also be able to manage their items in more in-depth ways, such as browsing the latest item category, as well as marking items as favorites. Once an item is marked as a favorite, you'll be able to find it in the Locker's own favorites category.
I was about to say, this doesn't look any easier.
When customizing your operators over in the Operators tab. The latest item category lets you find any item you may have received recently, no matter where it came from. Shop, pack,
this still
battle
looks
pass,
overly confusing.
It's all in there. Players will also be able to access the pack manager from the Locker, right as the first option on the screen. In the following seasons, players can expect more updates coming to the Locker. As always, we will continue to listen to your feedback.
In Operation Deadly Omen, you'll want to take a fresh look at your loadouts as big changes are coming to attachments. including the return of a fan favorite combo. Which combo, you ask? To tell you about that, we'll need game designer Mathieu Lacombe.
I don't know about this. Hang on, what?
With
Okay,
Deadly
hit me
Omen,
with
we're
it.
going to upgrade the ADS and the attachment system. We're going to bring this awesome gunplay and gun feel that we have in Siege, and we're going to make it even better. So for the ADS, we're slowing you down the time it takes for you to come from the IP to the fully ADS state. This means that if you have a plan, you're in control of an angle, you're going to get rewarded there. These changes also allow us to have more creativity and more control on what...
It's a different game to COD, where it's all over the place. I played COD the other day, and somebody commented on how batshit bananas it is. I appreciate that Siege is taking the more tactical route. It... As much as it pissed me off when Dead by Daylight did the whole ADS thing with Deathslinger, this is a tactical game, and part of it needs to be reaction time, part of it needs to be tactical planning, and so yeah, I'm fine with this.
kind of bonus we can give to our attachments. Currently in the game, we have the Universal 1X, the 1.5, the 2.0, 2.5, and 3.0. In Deadly Omen, we're reshuffling them into 4 categories. We're going to have the Iron Sights, the Universal 1X, the Magnified Scope, and the Telescopic Scope. These 4 new categories allows us to give them different bonuses. Iron Sights will have 10% ADS speed. Universal 1X will have 5% ADS speed. Magnified Scope will have no bonus on the ADS speed, but will in turn provide you with a 2.5 zoom level. The Telescopic Scope will have also no bonus on the ADS speed, but it will have a 3.5 zoom level. We are removing the 1.5. We're going to keep the casing, the object, and we're going to put it in the Magnified Scope section. As we're changing the optic section, we have to redistribute them. This means that our defenders will have limited access to the magnified scope, no telescopic scope there, but on the attacker side, we'll have access to
I like this. It basically, it says either you're committing to your run and gun, you're being able to fast whip it out, or if you want to zoom, you commit to that zoom. You commit to this idea of actually wanting to scope in on distant enemies. It's good. I remember when I came into the game, there was a lot of conversation about whether Kali was good or not. And it came from this idea of like the sniper doesn't really make sense in the close quarters nature of Siege, but that's a commitment that you make with Kali. That fundamentally needs to be the idea with magnified scopes across the board, that you commit to being able to do long range fights a whole lot better. But it does come at the disadvantage of less capability up when it's like a close range ADS time speed thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you kind of get the idea. It's commitment to one or the other, not sitting in a perfect middle ground.
The fight and telescopic.
That's always what the
mostly all of our
1.5's been.
That means Ash. That means the R4C. So if you were there back then, we're back. So the laser, it's such a tactical object. It's this awesome attachment.
I've heard about this.
But we don't do it justice, right? We're going to change the hip fire bonus into an ADS speed bonus. A 15% bonus, this is huge. But you'll have to be careful on where you're aiming. So now that we have 2 categories that affect the time it takes to go in ADS, well, the angle grip is a bit redundant in this current form. What we're going to bring...
I think... when this all releases, I think we try a stream where we run all the ADS stuff. Go Iron Sights, go with the... My brain's not working. Go with the Iron Sights, go with the hip fire, not the hip fire, the laser, and whatever is going on with these grips. Make that the most optimal I can for ADS speed. And see just like how that feels. Could be interesting.
In Deadly Omen is a 20% reload speed bonus. So if you've been keeping up with Siege, well, last year we changed the reload. This is such an important new change for you now.
That might be good on LMGs.
If you thought that reload speed was very spicy for attachment, well, we have the horizontal grip, a new attachment that will be available for our primary weapons. This one will provide movement speed bonus. So if you want to zoom around, that's the one. The vertical grip will remain the one attachment that you want.
Oh god, let me have this with Ally Caviera.
But we're making it 15% instead of 20% bonus. As you can see in Deadly Omen, there's tons of changes to the attachment system. I suggest that you go in the shooting range, you try all of those new options around, because you have to try them out.
I think a key thing to know is that it's not super... I want to say not super friendly to new players. It's something that you need to practice, you need to kind of get better, because you've got less stuff to kind of just carry you through things. The ADS stuff is obviously great, and that's going to help a lot of new players, but one thing I noticed losing out is that little recoil nerf, which kind of makes the vertical grip less important, which means that a lot of players probably will ditch that in favor of something else, and then that means you've got to learn how to deal with recoil. I'm curious to see how that will go. Again, something worth trying out when we get into the season.
We're just a few updates away from the full reveal of the new operator, Deimos. But first, here's creative director Alexander Karpazes with more on what's coming this season.
We love you, Lexi. We do. We love you, Lexi. We do. We love you, Lexi. We do. Oh, Lexi, we love you.
Projectiles. These are all the gadgets that are throwable. When you're quickly aiming, you'll have a pre-vis trail, and when you stop and pause for a bit, you'll have a completed
I didn't even pay attention to what I was looking at.
For experienced players, this is not about lowering the skill ceiling. Instead, this is giving you the confidence to set up sights quickly and not to have that moment that we've all had, where you throw a C4, it gets caught on a window ledge, and now you hate your...
I fucking suck at using C4s. Like, well, not suck. I can use them to some extent, but this will be helpful to actually, like, look, practice, know what's going on with the C4, and actually be able to use it practically. That's the thing. I want to be able to use C4s better, and this will help me to know. I'm imagining this is something that you can turn off too, so, you know. Once we get the hang of it, we might just ditch it.
Yourself. We have a lot of gadgets that are throwable, each with its own unique way of being thrown, and this gives a lot more confidence and a lot more power to the player to do the strategy that they want to do. And for those of you who don't want the system turned on, there is always an option to toggle it off.
I was about to say, this is the kind of thing they'll just allow toggling off. But one thing I'm gonna fuck around with this. I'm curious to see what I can pull off with Valk cams and the Thorn gadgets. And the Thorn gadgets might not seem as interesting, but I love this idea of now I don't have to kind of guess where it's gonna go. I can try and position it and make them either really annoying to find, or I don't know. I picture this one being a bit of fun, so I'm curious. Okay, let's give it a shot.
Repel is a huge system in Siege, and it's one that's very unique to us. We want to improve it and make sure that it's a lot more responsive, especially when it comes to approaching Repel and exiting Repel. Making sure it's a lot snappier, that it's more intuitive, and gives you the power to actually play on a wall and take an objective. And we've done some work on the mocap side as well, making sure that it feels right and also it looks right.
Last season in
I noticed I didn't show anyone being upside down and then going in. I'm gonna guess that still looks like shit. But that's nice. Okay, overall, pretty happy with that. Those are good changes.
Operation Deep Freeze, we introduced Versus AI and the training playlist.
Okay,
this
go
season,
on.
We're expanding these modes significantly with improved AI behaviors, additional operators, and more maps.
I was about to say,
the dev
probably
with
the
those
more maps
details
thing is going to be the
technical
most important.
architect Alex Busby.
Year 9 Season 1 is a big season for the Versus AI playlist. We're
I
adding
actually need to
5
go
new
through
maps
this
to the
on later.
playlist, meaning players can play against the AI in Chalet, Cafe, Bank, Consulate, and Oregon. The Versus can play against the AI in Chalet, Cafe.
Am I tripping, or was Cafe in the original version of it? I don't know. These are fucking weird maps to just leave out of your training playlist. especially Cafe, Clubhouse, and Oregon. These are like constant maps that like are basically in any playlist, and you always have to play. Even Chalet and Consulate and Bank, these are fucking big maps they've been leaving out of it. But I swear I remember the like when they were originally showing it was on Cafe. Whatever, doesn't matter. I know that Lair's one of them. There's probably a couple others, but okay, never mind.
Bank, Consulate, and Oregon. The Versus AI playlist was introduced last season with 1 map and 5 operators for the defense to play. This season, we're
maybe they
adding
didn't
5
actually
new maps,
release it. They
and
just
the AI
showed
will
it
be able
off.
to play as 2 new operators, Melusi and Alibi. On top of that, we're adding 6 new operators that the players can play against the AI as. Players will be able to use Ash, Finker, Buck, Jackal, Lion, and Iana. Year 9 Season 1 isn't just about new content. The AI will be getting better and smarter. And, more importantly, they will be less easy to bait. We've analysed how they play against players and improved our models and our behaviours, so hopefully they will provide more of a challenge to our more experienced players. The Versus AI playlist is not the only feature that is getting a big content drop this season. The trading playlist was introduced.
What gun was he using? That was a fucking terrible whiff. Hang on. Oh, that wasn't Lion. That was Finker. With the spear. Oh, look at that!
The trading playlist was introduced last season as Map Run. This season, we're introducing 4 new maps to this playlist: Skyscraper, Coastline, Border, and Nighthaven. We have big ambitions for
maybe
both
this is the one that Cafe was on.
training playlist. Each season, we'll see more content, better behaviors, more player-like AI, and hopefully positive feedback from the community.
This season's operator
good.
balancing target is Azami. And we're also making some tweaks to LMGs, which game designer David Perpignan will tell you all about.
I heard his army was on the chopping block. I didn't know LMGs were on the block. Or maybe they're getting buffed, I don't know.
Azami's ability to reshape the map has changed how defense is played in Siege. She's brought new gameplay and new strategies, and that's always great, but she's bringing some frustrating situations for attackers. The first one is that Kiva barriers can be deployed from afar, and this is causing attackers to have issues destroying them. And the second one is that explosives are the main way to deal with them. And this is causing a lot of stress on attackers' operators lineup and also on the explosives economy.
Watching ranked, it's always hard breaches and soft breaches. You might get the odd intel gatherer, but even then it was kind of like, alright, I remember there was one match I was watching, I can't remember who it was. But I remember the casters just talking about how interesting it was that a team brought IQ or Twitch. And it would be like their sole intel operator on a lineup that's pretty much fully stocked with explosive ops. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with this statement.
From now on, Kiva barriers will be vulnerable to bullets. For example, the 5.56 from Thermite will require 36 bullets to destroy a Kiva barrier. The 4.17 DMR will require 11 bullets, and the Supernova shotgun will require only 3 shells. As always, in balancing, we will keep an eye on these changes and iterate in the future if it's required.
This is a good change. My concern is if it's not enough. Like, so that
after
like
the weapon recoil overhaul that we did on year 7, LMGs have become less and less used by the players.
Yeah.
We want to deploy a set of changes that are based.
I will be pissed if I use my Bravo ticket last season to get a Black Ice on an AR. I believe it was IQ and Wamai's AR. And then they make LMGs good again. Because I'm pretty sure I passed up getting Gridlock's LMG in favor of an AR. So I...
based on the main attributes of LMGs. LMGs are heavy weapons capable of offering great support fire. We choose 2 main changes for this patch. The first one is that we will review every recoil on LMGs and make them easier to control. You should expect a recoil in between what we had in year 7 and what we have right now.
I think that's
fair. The second change is that LMGs will make operators move 10% slower. Remember that we release a new attachment, the horizontal grip, that will help you to increase your speed by a 5%. So this can help you to counter this change. These changes should incline players to play LMGs more like a support weapon rather than an entry kill weapon.
Now it's time.
Trying to think about what that means for things. I guess it positions you well to play with the shields. So the shields have been given a little bit more of a mobility buff, and like they're able to kind of charge in, and you can kind of slowly move behind that shield with your LMG ADS and be packing a real punch behind them. It's also like if you get the plant down and then you can sit there and cover fire, that's also going to be really, really strong. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think this is going to make LMGs not a solo queue weapon. If you're playing solo, you're probably going to want to use an SMG or an AR. If you're playing with a team, you can have one person, maybe they dash in for the plant. It's your Ash or somebody like that. They rush in, get that plant down. Meanwhile, you're on the window next to it with an LMG ready to absolutely light the fuck out of anyone there. That's kind of the way I'm envisioning this. I don't know if I'm envisioning it wrong, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays. We might mess around. It might be worth running on operators who are already slow and have the health to kind of back themselves up. So in my brain, I'm already thinking of Ram and Sophia, both with the LMG. So yeah, I don't know. We'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. Yang also might be a good operator to test it with, seeing as she's kind of just got to use a LMG a lot of the time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad change. I don't know how it works, and I feel like it's more tailored to a squad that is communicating with each other and has one person with the LMG specifically for that role.
To meet the operator who gives Operation Deadly Omen its ominous name. Deimos joins the attacking team armed with his vendetta and a gadget to help him track and hunt down his foes. Creative director Alexander Karpazis is here to share the insights on this operator's design. Then we'll go to director of gameplay design Jeremy Carvin and game designer Justin Larange Aluwalia for details on Deimos' threatening gadget.
Alright, what's going on with him?
Deimos is not a new character to the world of Siege. This is somebody that we've been working on for over a year. And we wanted to make sure that this character had teeth, that he still remained a villain even when he was captured. We wanted to give him that half cape. We wanted him to mask his identity. He's inspired by Bass Reeves, a historical character who could be a sheriff or an outlaw himself. The character went through a lot of iterations when it came to the mask. We wanted something that kept all of the players guessing.
They look like different DVD concept masks.
We went through a dozen of masks that fit the profile of somebody who is always thinking, who is very strategic, and who is going to challenge Rainbow.
This device idea comes from the US military, which has developed a type of nano flying drone that we always wanted to introduce into Siege. These are flying machines shaped as small helicopters, and they are very fast, hard to see, and they can scan and spy quickly what's going on around and detect an enemy. We wanted a device that could create a link between him and his target, and this piece of technology was the perfect element. And Defender, beware, because when you see this flyer, this is just a matter of time before Deimos shows up.
One by one, every operator dies. That's the promise Deimos made when he made his devastating first appearance last year, and it's a promise he intends to keep. Deimos specializes in hunting down his targets with ruthless efficiency. To that end, he's bringing a collection of small probes called Deathmark trackers. These little machines will seek out their target no matter where they are on the map and relay their location to Deimos and only to Deimos for a period of time. Of course, it can't be said that Deimos isn't the sporting sort. While Deimos' Deathmark tracker is active, he'll reveal his own position to his prey, albeit with slightly less information. He'll also restrict himself to his custom revolver for the duration of the hunt, though as his victims soon find out, that's hardly a disadvantage.
That thing looks like a packed
Deimos first
fucking
needs
damage.
to identify a target. He can do this by having him or his allies scan enemies or their gadgets during the prep phase or action phase.
Oh, so red
This will add them to Deimos' target list. Deimos can cycle through targets using the alternate ability mode input, Once Deimos has his target, he can use the ability button to toss up one of his death marks and start the hunt. Deimos will start the round with 0 death marks, and then over the course of the round, he will accumulate more until he reaches his maximum of 3. The tracker will take a few seconds to find its target, during which everyone on both teams will be alerted, giving them a chance to prepare for the situation to come. Once the tracker has found its target, the hunt begins, and will continue until either the timer runs out, or Deimos or the target is dead.
I like this. I have no idea how this is going to affect ranked play, but this seems like such a fun operator to goof around with in like standard or quick match. Okay, I fuck with this. I do have some questions about how the power works. Interesting. I don't even know what my questions are, to be honest. It's God, it's a weird power. It's an inbuilt 1v1 function, I guess. With some extra elements to it. I guess we'll have to see what weaponry he's got. I'm assuming he's an attacker. It looks like he's an attacker. Okay, let's just keep going. I kind of forget my thought from before, so we'll see if it comes back to me.
That said, if Deimos doesn't like the matchup, he can cancel the ability at any time
that makes sense.
using the gadget button. To help him
yeah, no, I remember what I was going to say before. Sorry. I feel like an important thing is going to be that he wants to try and figure out where players are roughly prior to using it. Let's say he's having a 1v1 match with somebody off-site. Let's say the tower in why did I pick that map? Okay, forget that. Pretend that you're in the master bedroom in Chalet, and you want to figure out, because you knew there was a character roaming around there. You want to try and figure out where they are so that you can have that matchup, try and take them out. You then kind of have to take a guess as to which character it was. And some cases it might be easy. Maybe your options are Tubarao and Alibi, which, oh, pardon me. One of those is more likely to be on site, while the other one's likely to be roaming around. And if you're off site, so let's just say they're in the basement and you're in the bedroom, Alibi is probably the one that you're going to be dealing with. But there's going to be situations where that won't be so clear. Let's say it was a case where, I don't know. I can't think of a good example, but there's going to be times where you won't know exactly who it is that you're trying to target, and you'll be wanting to have somebody specific in mind. I don't know. It'll be curious to see.
Hunt, Deimos has 2 primary options. The first option is the AK-74M.
Okay,
this is a decent assault rifle with a large magazine, for when all you need is to just rain down bullets on the enemy.
Yeah.
Alternatively, he can bring the M590A1. This is the SAS shotgun of choice, and a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy this one too.
This gun is great for making rotates, or for a quick corner peek. The real prize, though, is the big iron on Deimos' hip, the 44 Vendetta. This brand new revolver is Deimos' signature weapon, and it's easy to see.
I see the scope on the pistol, and I immediately think it's Kaid and Nomad's gadget, and I just, so many terrible memories of that gun.
Why? In the veteran's hands, it's a fast, accurate, and deadly machine of death.
That
2
thing
shots
has
from this
barely
gun
in a
is
recoil
more
shot.
than enough to kill anything that moves. And with its clean sights, high destruction, and high mobility, it'll make sure to take down anything in Deimos' path. Deimos comes equipped with either frag grenades or hard breach charges.
Wonder how many
Frag
shots it
synergize
takes to get
great
rid of
with
an
his
alibi
death
thing
marks,
with that.
allowing him to flush out enemies in entrenched positions. On the other hand, hard breach charges allow Deimos to bear down on a site once he's secured an area. Either way, Deimos will make sure that no one can hide from him. Deimos is a 2 health.
He's one of those characters that I think actually may benefit from frag grenades. Because when he's playing his 1v1 mind games, he can actually use those frag grenades to put players between a rock and a hard place. If he can see them, they can see him, but he can just toss a frag grenade out, and then now all of a sudden they are playing hot potato. They can't stay where they are. They've got to move, and then that creates the 1v1 quick gameplay that's going to make Deimos so painful. Most players, if they had frag grenade hard breach, I'd say run hard breach. This character, I'm thinking it might be a bit different to that.
2-speed operator. His balanced approach is made so that he can push aggressively on the enemy.
This makes sense.
Without having to worry about taking a stray bullet or two. Deimos' ability can take one piece of the defender equation off the board, but he can also weaponize the intel that he provides. A coordinated team can use Deimos' exposed position either as bait or as a misdirect. New players will find that Deimos' kit is quite powerful, and
I really
very
appreciate they
effective
haven't
at
given him
hunting down
blind
single
slow.
targets and
That would have
taking them
been
out.
too powerful, I think.
This can be a bit risky in solo play, but if you coordinate with your team and share that intel, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. We can think of operators like Ashe, Zofia, Blitz, or Ying. They would all be perfect for that job. Deimos might be able to hunt down operators, but smart defenders will also protect themselves with traps and flanks. Operators who can anticipate or disable traps, like IQ or Thatcher, and flank watch operators, like Nomad and Gridlock, are great additions to make sure that
100%.
Deimos doesn't have to worry about additional variables on his hunt. Deathmarks are small and fast, making it nearly impossible to avoid once they've found you. However, with the right tech, it is possible to hide from them or avoid them entirely.
Go on, where are you, Mute?
Gadgets that disable electronics, such as Mute's jammers, two-brow Zoto canisters, can help
Don't get me wrong, I love Mute. Good God, he is the counter to everything. I remember when Brava came out, I was like, there's no point of playing Brava to try and record anything, because people are just going to be bringing Mute to avoid Brava. And they're not going to be bringing the fucking Maestros and Echoes that will be fun to play against. Same deal here. This is, yeah, I'm expecting a lot of Mute in these first couple of weeks.
Mask an operator's presence, hiding them from a Deathmark tracker before they find them.
Interesting that
If you're
Tupper
too
House
late
works.
and already getting tracked, these devices can still help you, though they'll only last for the duration of the disabling effect. If the disabling ends before the Deathmark does, then it'll pick up right where it left off. Vigil is uniquely suited to dealing with Deimos. His ability to deny intel also applies to Deathmark trackers.
Yeah, figures.
Deimos is a terrifying operator.
Does Vigil see Deimos if Deimos can't see Vigil? That's a question for you.
His ability to control the flow of battle means that
And chances
nobody
are
is safe.
Deimos just won't use on Vigil.
When Deimos is on the board, he's a problem, and he needs to be dealt with.
Now that you've gotten all the details from the devs, let's get some impressions from a special guest. Someone in the community who's played a lot of Siege and recently played an early hands-on session with Operation Deadly Omen. Please welcome Jinxie.
Let's do it. This is a sick ass gun. When he's in the right hands,
Jinxie plays controller? Holy shit. I did not know that. That's good to know. I haven't seen much Jinxie. I probably should, because he seems like he's pretty popular in the Siege community, and I watched there was a Bolo video where it was Bolo doing 1v1 against Shaiko, and Jinxie kind of commentated it. Very, very cool. I appreciated it. But yeah, no, I need to watch more of him. I can't believe, holy shit, controller player. Out in the wild. I know there's a lot of them, but I just, you assume a lot of the big names in Siege would be playing mouse and keyboard. So this is kind of cool.
he could be a 10 out of 10 operator because it's going to have that double ping effect, right? The other attackers don't have that ping. So if your communication stays good and Deimos can actually call out where the roamers are,
God
you can
help anyone
destroy
playing
roamers.
against like a Bolo or
And
Shaiko
I can
with
say
this.
his secondary was one of the most fun guns ever. Like I could make
few
so
of the
many
pro
line of
players.
sights through like 3-4 walls, like long range. It was sick. Ace, baby, ace! Oh yeah, this op's insane. This op's insane. Key to Deimos and what he promotes more than anything is communication and call outs. It's gonna teach players to actually roam with discipline, because like recently the ranked meta, not pro league, but the ranked meta is just everyone running around. So that operator would actually shift the meta.
100%.
When I found out Ash R4C ACOG was coming back, I almost shit my pants. And then like they even brought back Buck ACOG and all the other iconic ACOGs. Castle has an ACOG? So I think next is Jaeger. Deimos is so good. I'm out.
You could play the season test server for Operation Deadly Omen starting next week. Take the new shields for a spin, experiment with new attachment upgrades, and see how devious Deimos really is. Remember, whether you're in the test server or just playing as usual, please report issues you encounter to R6Fix for a chance to earn some rewards. We're also hyped for the live reveal of Year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege tomorrow at the finals of the Six Invitational in Sao Paulo. Until then, here's one more thing to celebrate. Happy Lunar New Year.
I already had this conversationally. I'm recording this a little bit after the panel, so it's a cool skin. I do like it. I'm gonna have every single time this sort of thing pops up. The audio is not good for videos. Right, okay, I think that's everything. I didn't catch was there a release date on this? Live release March 12th, so we are about a weekish away.